Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you all the books that I want to finish by the end of 2020. So we are finally coming to a close of 2020 and thank goodness. So usually like this time of year it's always like not like a rush, but it's always kind of, you know, good to kind of see how you're doing on your TBR. And for me, I only have 9 books that are left on my TBR, and I've done a really good job this year of keeping that down, and so I want to continue up with that kind of, you know, momentum. So right now I have a total of 6 books that are currently on my TBR that I want to finish. 3 of them I'm not counting towards this year. I'll explain about that more in a little bit. And then there's a few that are going to be new releases that come out. Actually, all of these come out in November, so so this video will be kind of split into 2 sections. There'll be the ones that are currently on my TBR, and then the ones that are coming out, you know, new releases that I want to finish by the end of the year. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So starting out, I first have 2 books in the Inspector Gamache series, and they are The Brutal Telling and the and Bury Your Dead by Louise Penny. And so these are the 2 that I'm counting. I have 3 more that are on my TBR shelf, but I'm not counting them towards this year because after Bury Your Dead I need to get, I think, 2 more books, and then the next book I have, and then I need to get 1 more book, and then the next book I have. So like these are like the last 2 in continuation that I can like marathon through without having to go and buy the books myself. So that's why I'm like not putting my pressure to finish the other 3 that are on my shelf, because I want to read it chronologically, so that's not that big of a deal. But I've been really loving this series. I've just read like the last 2 back to back, and so I want to continue on with this momentum. It's just a lot of fun. I've really grown to really love the character of Gamache in the town of 3 Pines. I think what's really unique about this is that it also kind of deals, first of all, it takes place in Canada, and so that kind of reminds me of home, but it also has a very intriguing kind of main character. Usually people, especially in the crime like series, come off as like hard and cold, but Gamache is very empathetic and attuned with people's emotion, and he's not intimidating. He's very much like a soft soul. Like he's very like kind of, you know, reserved, and he listens, so he doesn't like, he's not like intimidating and kind of overzealous and kind of, you know, power hungry like a lot of the characters in crime series are. So I think there's something about that, and then also the sense of found family and just the feeling of 3 Pines in here is just so cute. So I know I'll definitely be able to finish these relatively quickly, so they're going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, I've just grown to really love this series, and books are relatively short. This one in particular is the longest, and it's 382 so far, and like, yeah, so it's not like, they're not that difficult to, you know, read, but nevertheless they're still, you know, a lot of fun. So this one I'll be finishing this month in November, so I'm not too worried about this one as well, and it is The Beauty in Breaking by Michele Harper, and this is also the Tales and Teacups book club pick for November and December. And this is a memoir from an emergency room physician and her kind of story of, you know, being a African-American woman in a predominantly white male-dominated field, her experience with that, just, you know, her experience in dealing with, you know, working with people that are breaking in many different ways. And while this is going on, she's also kind of, you know, breaking in her life too with her, you know, failed marriage. So I think this one would be very interesting. I think it'll be also very hopeful and well, and kind of make you realize that, you know, there's beauty in recovery and, you know, kind of growing from, you know, a hardship. So yeah, I think this one will be very good as well. So like I said, I'm not worried about this one because it's the book club pick, so I have to finish it. So yeah, like I said, not too worried about this one. So next up I have The Unspoken by Ian K. Smith, and this is a novel that follows a former detective who didn't want to participate in a cover-up with the police, so he ends up becoming a private detective, and it kind of goes off from there. So I think this is the first book in the series, and I think it'll be very interesting. I think it'll deal with a lot of racism, abuse, and police power, and all those important themes that are especially now very, you know, relevant in kind of everyday conversations. So I think this one will be very good. Like, this one's actually fairly short. It's under 300 pages, so I could read this relatively quick as well. So the ones that are currently on my TBR, I'm I'm not too concerned about. So this one I said like is on my November TBR, so I'm not worried about, you know, not finishing it. And these are the last two books on my TBR that I'm counting towards 2020, and they are Lost Hills and Bone Canyon by Goldberg. And this follows a female detective who was part of a arrest of a famous celebrity, and that kind of, you know, got a lot of positive press. So the head of homicide, or I think the head of the sheriff's department, makes that woman kind of the poster child for, you know, makes her the youngest female homicide detective in the department's history, and kind of used her as a kind of pawn to make the police department look, you know, better. So yeah, I have the first book, and then the second book comes out in January, so I want to finish these by December so I can have a review for this one when it comes out. But yeah, I'm excited for these. I always love starting a new crime series, and for me, when I go into these, I don't really want to know too much about the kind of murder mystery part of it, so I'm just going to kind of go into these blind, but nevertheless, I'm really excited to pick these up. So next, moving on to the new releases that are coming out. All of these are coming out in November. So November is the big release month apparently for books, and the first one is Shadow Sands by Bryznda, and this is the second book in the Kate Marshall series. I flew through the first Kate Marshall book when it came out when I read it in 2019, and I loved it, so I'm really excited for this one. I don't know anything about the plot, but I know I'm just gonna love it. So like I said, I'm not too worried about this one because I know, like, I'm really excited for it, so I know I'll definitely pick it up as soon as it comes in the mail. Next is the Enigma game by Wein, and so this is one that this comes out November 3rd as well, along with Shadow Sands. And basically the premise of this, I don't know anything about this, but I know she wrote the Codename Verity kind of trilogy, and I really enjoy it. So this is another one that takes place during World War II, and it's a YA book, so it's not like it's like a hefty kind of, you know, adult fiction book that's really dense. So I'm not too worried about this one as well, but it's nevertheless something that I'm really excited about. And I remember I read the synopsis very briefly, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, and then I don't remember what it's about because I just want to go into it blind. So good thing I have really bad memories, so it helps me in those situations. But yeah, this one is one I want to finish also by the end of the year. Next, we have A Promised Land by Barack Obama, and this is his memoir that's coming out in the middle of November, and I'm really excited for this one. I loved Michelle Obama's memoir, so I'm really interested to read, you know, Barack Obama's memoir. So I don't think I need to explain too much about this. I'm sure you guys probably you know about him, so I don't need to talk about it. But yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. I'm filming this before the election, so especially how things pan out, I think it will also be very interesting to, you know, hear about it. And lastly, we have The Awakening by Nora Roberts, and this is her new trilogy, and I'm really excited for this one. Again, I don't know too much about it, but it involves dragons, and I really kind of stepped outside my comfort zone reading her Year One trilogy last year, and I loved it. So I'm like, you know what, this is her new trilogy, I'm gonna try it and see how it goes. So this is another one. I think I'm gonna save this one for December because it comes out towards the end of November, so I think it will be good, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited for this one, but I really want to kind of get it done because there's books that I have my eye on for like in the new year that I want to read, so I want to like get these ones done. I want to be done with 2020 and like just have these books, you know, finished. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what some of the books you need to read by the end of the year and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.